This should be microphone duo chat. There we go. All right. Oh, shit. I am peaking quite a bit there. All right. Let's bring this back down. So it seems, the microphone just decided to switch off. Thank Cyclone Alfred for that one. Cyclone Alfred, thank you very much. All right, so now that I've managed to not have a complete clusterfuck, I managed to solve it in record time. Okay, let's try the next thing. This should be Virtual B. That seems to be right. Desktop audio, audio input capture. I think that is game, I think. Let's see if we put this up. And yes, haha. Okay, things are working. We have success. All right. So I'm going to transition. And there we go. Alrighty. So away from Cyclone Alfred completely fucking up the entire setup, which is now why I am at this jaunty angle here, because the PowerPoints over yonder direction, for Turtles, who I believe he said he was driving and listening, I'm pointing off to my right, your left, however you want to consider it. But the PowerPoints over there decided to stop working. And with that, it took out the external capture card. And with that external capture card going, it killed half the settings that were running in the background for input capture. So one advantage to that has been I've now updated everything so that the capture setup here is now able to capture... it is able to capture balanced output at 120 FPS. It still displays it at 60 FPS, but it does capture it at 120, which then means that you can see the really awesome, super amazing, what do you call it? The really awesome, super amazing ray tracing and global illumination of this game. So away from that, and this is Assassin's Creed Shadows. Just for anybody who is jumping in or potentially popping in for the first time, I'm not going to go anywhere with story content. I'm going to stay away from story content. I'm not going to do any missions, because I will say the story is very interesting. I'm enjoying it. And I would be very interested for people to encounter it with no spoilers or anything else, because I'm actually playing it in the canon mode. So for the game, there are two modes. One where you can decide and make decisions based on what you want your character to do. But for me, there's a canon mode where it instead goes, okay, we are going to play out the story as is the canon for the game that we have made. So the story that we will continue to tell in Assassin's Creed, the story that you will experience in canon mode, you don't make any decisions for your character, for Yasuke or Nanoe. You you are along for the ride. And I quite like that. It's a very cool idea. I like the idea of being able to just play the game and be told a story as opposed to the very big concept of, oh, it's an RPG. You must play the role. No, sometimes it can be better to just let the story be told. Let me play the role by experiencing it through their eyes, not making the decisions for them. It'd be the same as, you know, can you experience a person's point of view through a movie? You can, if the movie is well told and that you feel engaged and that you feel that the character has traits or elements where you can sympathize and understand how they feel. That's good writing. And I quite like that trust. That is a very cool element. One key thing I will say for the game is I'm really enjoying it. And that's, I think, the best thing you can say about any game. Are you enjoying it or are you not enjoying it? This is really fun. Oh. An old dude is starving. Okay, I don't think this is going to be a story quest, so we can at least chat with him. He wants some rice. I will give him rice. Another strong... Jesus. I need rice and a new cooking pot, and yes, another strong ox to pull my cart. I always wanted a silk cassode. Just one in my life. Once in my life. Yeah, I can understand that. Okay, so here is an option. Here, eat for a day. One of the currency. Here, eat for a week, 10 of the currency. Buy yourself something silky, 1,000 of the currency. Eat for a week. Like, by all means. I like the idea of being able to just do things, but not have everything be, oh, this is a choice or a consequence or this or that. Now, I do like this in the world. There is there's scouts that you use to gather information, and then there's world rumors. World rumors help build out points of interest on the map, and I quite like them. There's also another element. I don't know if many people did it, but in I think it was in Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Valhalla, you could do the guided mode where when you go to the map, it feels like a standard Assassin's Creed game. You would just go, oh, okay, next mission is this location. Cool, I'm going to go to this location. All right. Oh yeah, I've still got that thing. Okay, even though I am currently being pursued by some people, I'm just going to head out and continue doing this mission. There's the thing of just following the classic quest markers. Just go do your thing. Or you can actively take part where you use scouts and information, where it'll give you, say, 3 little bits of information about you need to find this person. This person is located west of X location. They are north of this temple or this city. And they are known, they have a heavy guard presence around them. Oh no, here's the Ronin. Oh, it's a guardian. Shit, okay. Okay, I was not expecting a serious fight against... there's particular dudes in the world, like Ronin, who, are obviously kind of, in a sense, guns for hire, swords for hire, however you wish to consider them. And they can be a bit of a pain in the ass. but after you get past certain points in the game, they push more of them. They push more of them into the open world to then help make things a little hairier, so that you're not just able to, without consequence, walk anywhere and everywhere you want without encountering some resistance. Like, it's not in a sense just, oh, the world just lets you skip merrily on by. It would be nice. It would be nice if it was, but that doesn't really make for an exciting game. But with the scout system and I think they call it the exploration mode, is the standard mode for the game, where quest markers come up, or guided. Hold on. Instead of sitting here and trying to remember which one it is, I can just look at the fucking options. Be a smart person. Okay, so interface gameplay. All right, guided exploration mode. So guided exploration mode disables the pathfinding experiences and it replaces it with simplified objective markers, streamlining exploration at the cost of removing and modifying intended gameplay elements. Some achievements cannot be unlocked in guided exploration mode. So I've got that switched off because I quite like the idea of having the game tell me, oh, as much as you like, as much as this is it's an open world map, it's an Ubisoft sandbox sort of game. It's nice to change it up a bit and actually have a sense of time and effort spent in exploring a world, as opposed to the way that we tend to just run through games like that, where you can blitz through something really fucking quickly if you're not really paying attention. You can just, like, how many times can you just absolutely rinse a Far Cry game because there's no kind of continuing element of, oh, you must do this or that. No, you can just rinse the game by running from point A to point B in a straight line. I've always enjoyed kind of having a game go, here's a little bit of a different intention for the experience. Okay, one aspect I do really like about their exploration of Japanese culture is that there are just simple little things. Temples where you go and for skill building, for increasing your skill base, or skill like earning skill points or skill levels, what they want you to do is just engage with the culture. So coming to these temples, it can be as simple as some of the temples just have a few shrines that you go and pray at. And I like just the simplicity of all you need to do is engage with the culture. If you just engage with it in this really nice, easy way where it gives you a small understanding of how these religions and how these cultures have existed and propagated over thousands of years, or I think it's thousands of years for Japanese culture, because yes, I believe so. But then again, I am not an authority on Japanese culture. I would be a pretty terrible authority on Japanese culture. But where is... Seems to be... They're telling me that I can find something. I can dive into The water? Telling me there is something here, but there is not. Okay, I don't know what that is telling me to do. Okay then. All right. Okay, so find all the lost pages. So each of the temples, a lot of the ones that I've found so far have actually been, they instead go with, hold on, there we go. You're meant to look around. Okay, so we've got these little twinkly lights. They're the things that you can find around the... Oh. Okay, this is one of the cool little things about the game that I quite like, which is drawing in the traditional brush artwork for Japanese culture. If you're familiar with Yoji Shinagawa, the artist who works with Hideo Kojima since the Metal Gear Solid games, that very kind of broken brush art style, that is a more traditional art style that he digitized and started working into how he draws and develops concepts. And they're doing the more traditional stuff here in the game, where if you find different animals, animals that have a reference or a culture point for Japan at this time. Ooh. Okay, it is saying that there's something here. So then you do demonstrative art pieces based on that. And it's kind of a nice little touch, because a lot of the time the driven element of any of these sorts of games is always about, you go to a location, you fill in the checkboxes, and you move. Like, it's always about moving fast and just pushing through. I like that for this game, it seems less exploitative of you have to take your time, you can't rush these things. It's instead just a simple, no, take your time and enjoy, see the world, which is not what a lot of games want you to do. It's always the kind of rush, push, like, go see more, go do more, go move into this area, or go take on this challenge, or... Okay, what do we got here? Huh. It's actually like a little seated rock garden thing. It is very nice. Okay, so first things first, we'll go get this little sparkle over here, which will be one of the lost pages. So we'll grab that. So one lost page. And then for each of the temples, it's either pray at a certain amount of shrines, find a certain amount of... Oh, fuck me. That's where it is. Oh, that is going to be tough. Okay, so... the most I've been interested in an AC game since Unity. I do agree with you, Turtles. Like... I played Unity, I think about a year or so after it came out, like after all of the issues that happened with the game. I actually went back to Unity and found that once Ubisoft had been given a bit of time to kind of like sort out the problems, it was a very ambitious game, a very ambitious technology set that they were building in for that game. I know someone. I know someone. I was going to say I knew, but they're still alive. I know someone who worked on AC Unity, and the only thing that they said before Unity was announced was, "Oh my god, I can't wait for people to see like the technology and stuff that we're building. It's awesome." And he was right. It was awesome. It was just it was a tough thing to see being built and to kind of showcase, because to any degree it was it was a fucking monster of an effort to be able to go from the kind of node based light system that they used to have and then go into all of these really cool detailed polygonal systems. And like that's that's a thing. I think Alex Battaglia talked about it in on Digital Foundry's coverage of this, that it is incredible how much they've improved the game. And like this has ray trace global illumination on the balance mode, which is the 40 FPS mode I'm currently playing in. I don't think I'm going to be able to get this fucking thing. God damn it. Can I knock it down with a fucking arrow? No, I cannot. But I will say, just you look at the detail for everything in the world, I'm honestly really shocked and amazed at what they managed with it. Whoop. Hey, we didn't break our legs. Oh, pat the dog. Pet the dog. Ray trace dogs. That's, you know, that's the important thing in games, ray trace dogs. Oh, yes. I'm not just playing the game in guided exploration mode or canon mode. I'm also playing it in a particular mode that they have in the game, which I love because I'm a nerd for old Japanese films, which is in the audio section. Okay. There is immersive mode. Activating this option automatically sets and locks the voiceover language to Japanese and blends Japanese and Portuguese dialogue for an immersive audio experience. From Turtles, 10 out of 10 game, yes. The fact that there are dogs and cats fucking everywhere is amazing. I love that about it's just the simple things when it comes to stuff like that. Like, I'm a sucker just for simplicity in design and approach. And sometimes you can just chill and take it easy and go, fuck it. Why not have puppy dogs? Have this, have that. Like have ways to be able to engage and just chill with just animals, little bits and pieces. The immersive mode I really like in a sense, because at the start of the game, when you meet Yasuke for the first time, he is with Portuguese, I would say, priests. So you are then... Oh. Also, I don't know if this the dialogue for this is coming through. It's coming through very light, even in my ears for this. And okay, that should hopefully be coming through a little better. So, all right, what's happening here? Um, okay. This seems to be, it might be a story thing. So I am actually going to skip all of this because I don't want to spoil anyone. And luckily, it's in Japanese. So unless you're a native Japanese speaker, you don't know what's going on because I'm skipping through it so goddamn quickly. Uh, I don't know if you speak Japanese, Turtles. I've never asked. Okay. I've now switched over to Naue as well. So that gives me the ability to get this the the scroll here that I couldn't pick up before because Yasuke is a chonky boy and he would find it hard to get up there. Nanoe, being the assassiny shinobi warrior that she is able to do that with not a fucking hassle. All right, let's jump down off here. And she managed to not break an ankle. Even better. Okay, so with a lot of it, game is beautiful. Story, I won't go into. I'm intrigued. And the intrigue element of it is what kept me not only in the guided exploration switched off and playing the game as intended, is also the reason why I'm playing in immersive mode and playing in canon mode because yeah. Sorry, Turtles, I didn't see your comment there. The Yakuza games have given you the basics. The basics being Nani. the Everything about this, this feels like one of those games that if you approach it on its level and go, hey, I'm willing to give you the kind of option. No, don't worry about ruining my train of thought. My train of thought is generally pretty shit in the best case. My train of thought derails constantly. This almost feels like one of those games where if you meet it on its level, that if you approach it in the way that the developers have kind of put forward this idea of going, we want to tell a story. If you take the story as it is, see it through, and play the game as we've intended, you're going to get a lot out of it. And I think that's actually where they've really dialed in. Now, I do know some friends of mine who have played it and gone, man, this isn't really catching me. And it's like, a fair call. Like, not for everybody. It was amazing to see the clapbacks by the Ubisoft account against Grums and Elon Musk, because I feel like, as is always, if you try a game as intended and it doesn't gel with you, it's not your jam, that's cool. And you can go, I don't like it because of these reasons. Like, I'm not gelling with it, the combat feels off, or this doesn't feels right, or this doesn't feel like an Assassin's Creed game that I want to play. Cool. Those are all valid. And that validity comes in just the simple statement of going, I want this experience. And one aspect is that games change over time. No experience is ever a straight experience. From OMG Turtles, do you think skeptics should buy it full price? I don't know if I'm the best person to answer that question. I will openly admit, I personally think that it is worth the price of admission. Now, this is also coming from someone who I really loved Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I didn't really get into Valhalla, but this has pulled me in, and I think right now I can very quickly tell you that my game time that I've played this for is 23 hours since it was released, and I got it on day one. So that would be Saturday or Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday, or Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So in 5 days, I have played 23 hours of this game. I still don't think that, even with my own perspective, I don't think I'm the best person to say whether you should buy it at full price. I personally do think that rookie numbers, yeah. Well, I'm having to make sure that I get new staff. I'm busy. It's still unfortunately very busy for work, but this is how I'm really just chilling out and taking time. So with, I would say, Turtles, in all honesty, I don't think anybody who evangelizes should tell you to buy it at full price. I can only say that I'm enjoying it. However, I've always been very price conscious personally, because like my own personal experience, I've been the person who's had to go, do I want a video game this week, or do I want to pay rent? And when you have those sorts of decisions in your life, you tend to like respect that expenditure. That you kind of go, oh, as much as I would love to play this, I've got responsibilities. I would not say that this game is any reason to try and finagle numbers or ask for a bit of leeway, which is generally how I put it. Like, yeah, actually, no. I would say I don't know that I would say to people buy it full price on the insistence of, if you are able to pay full price for the game and you have no, like, $70 for you or $100 or whatever it may be in your local currency, if that isn't ever an issue for you, I would say it's worth that. But if $70 or that as a purchase price is the sort of money where you go, I can't make that decision willy-nilly, like it, not without consideration, then yeah, I don't think that there's many things that are worth that. Oh, poor dude, he got assassinated. And for anybody who isn't watching and is just listening, carving up motherfuckers. And I will say, the combat is satisfying. Really satisfying. That this is possibly one of the first Assassin's Creed games where the stealth focus and the combat aren't two separate attempts at trying to balance things out properly. It is instead, they have balanced a great combat system, even though one of the characters is meant to be stealthy as hell and not seen and, hidden away from everyone else. but still giving you an effective and fun combat in the with that character in that moment. It is so much more satisfying to feel that when a fuck up happens, like, I don't know for anybody who's watching, but you might remember Yahtzee, Croshaw, Zero Punctuation, all of that. The way he would talk about a cock up cascade where you fail stealth, and then you fail stealth, one guy sees you, and you're like, oh shit, you know, this guy's seen me, I now need to run. And then you go, oh, now I've also cocked up with these other people. You take out that one person that you alerted, and then it means another one runs into you, and then another one, and then another one. And it's a cascade. Like, no matter what you do to quickly take care of them or to try to push back against those enemies, you end up just having to deal with more and more and more of them. Hence the cock up cascade. This is one of the first games in which failing stealth and being able to deal with enemies is not a hey Sub, how you doing, man? The game is fire. I really like the Japanese and Portuguese dub. It feels more natural. That is exactly what I am playing on, sir. I am glad to hear somebody else is enjoying it as well. I have to admit, like, I do not speak Japanese and I do not speak Portuguese. Probably a big failing in my life. I should speak both those languages. You know, I should stop being a pussy and just learn more languages. But I love it because it has that just natural kind of running feel that it gives it the Kurosawa feel without it being the kind of classic Kurosawa film. How would you put it? The speaking from the chest, like the really guttural shouts and violent attacks of honor that you get in the classic Kurosawa films. But I like that it has just a natural intonation as well. It almost feels that there's a musicality with the language that I played the opening in both English and then the immersive mode, and like the 5 minutes of the immersive mode, the Portuguese and Japanese, I was immediately like, I have to play it this way. And it was the same with, that's the thing that pushed me to choose the canon mode and to not have the guided exploration. So everything in this game that I'm doing is I'm having to use the scouts and everything else. I will say, like, Rand, when talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows on the last episode of Xbox 2, he did say, like, he found it that using the scouts, and if you use up the scouts, they reset every season, or you can spend money to bring them back. I absolutely get his point for it. It is a little oh yeah, from Subagles. The first scene with Nobu and Yasuke was so intense. That, I think, was possibly one of the most well done scenes to show that, to show and really give a feel of a cadence, a back and forth, to really make that, to really sell that mode in the best way possible, I think. Because you almost feel like a scene with not a great deal of dialogue, not a lot of back and forth. It's motion capture, or it's P capture, performance capture. But the nuance, the subtleties, the movement, the eye line, and small expressions and everything, those things were done so beautifully that it really just, it made me kind of stop and go, okay, they just had it they had it perfect. They had it perfect. There was nothing, you know. That was the thing that sold me. Absolutely. Oh, okay. We've got some temples. Oh yeah, and the non-guided exploration mode. Don't uh I don't know for you Subagles. Are you playing in the guided exploration mode? So like all of the quest markers appear on the map and you're just able to head straight to them, or are you using the scouts and finding things throughout the world? Because I don't know of many people who are actually doing the kind of non-guided exploration, and I'd be interested to know if, yeah, if you went with that or if you're just like, no, I'm just wanting to play through, because it's definitely intriguing to kind of go into your map like, I think I should be able to do this without having anything anything spoilery come up. So I'm gonna keep zoomed out this way, see if I can find something that I can use to Omi, Castle and Adachi near the training grounds. Okay. Okay, so Omi near Azadachi near the training grounds. So all right. So I have an objective. So I'm just going to highlight this and go, okay, I need to find this person. He's in Omi. He's at the castle. You're still early on, still exploring with Nanoe, about 6 hours-ish in. And you're using the scouts and naturally progressing, but I'm somewhat confused with the scout system. Okay, I have fucked around with it enough to have worked out some of the stuff. So, so with the clues here, the way I've worked it out best as I can is that I generally take the information of going, okay, here is the location in Omni. Now with the, for some reason it doesn't, oh wait, hold on. That is an objective for Yasuke and I am currently Nanoe. All right, so I am going to. Okay. I'm just going to avoid that so I don't spoil you for anything. Okay, untrack that. The way I have found to use the scouts best for me is... Why do I have no scouts, though? This is wrong, and I'm going to go fix that. Okay, 6 hours-ish in. Oh, okay, we've got a season change. I wonder what season this is going into. Oh, and we've got another follower with Hazard All Gaming. Cheers, man. I don't know if you're here or hanging out, but thank you very much for the follow. Okay, yes, and now we've got scouts. Okay, so I should be able to do this. Let's try. Problem is, at the moment, because the balance mode, it seems to be throwing, like, the capture cards getting everything perfectly. This is in the 40 FPS balance mode. But for some reason, its output to the monitor keeps throwing weird errors at me, which is just strange. Okay, so I have like this area where I am in the map. This is where I am looking for someone. So with the, it's still not letting me do the friggin' thing. I'm okay. The only thing that I have found that works with it is that with the scouts, I've generally used them that wherever it tells me around the scouts, like whenever you get to the Kakuri or Kakuriga, I am very terrible at pronouncing anything. Slight dyslexia. So one of the issues that I have in my life is that I can read things and understand what they are, but when it comes to pronouncing them, if I haven't heard the word pronounced, I can fuck it up terribly. But the Kakuriga, when you unlock them, these little bundles of materials and everything like that, you can hit refill and then have those scouts immediately come back in. It costs about 200 bucks in the in-game currency. But oh, hold on, for some reason I'm getting a ping off a work thing here. Sorry, I'm just trying to disable this because it shouldn't. I shouldn't be getting a work ping on my home PC, which is very, very strange. Okay. Well, who knows? The scouts, what I've done is when it comes to the map, wherever it gives me the general location of, say, it goes, okay, it is actually, I can think of one that you will soon have, which is, it will go, it is in southwest Setsu. It is near the Temple of Osaka, and it is near a burnt out house. So for this entire location, when they say southwest, whenever they're asking or pointing you for scouts, it's always going to be look at the location overall and then just go to the center of it and then head in the direction. That is where they're indicating. Wherever they seem to point for using scouts or anything else, center of whatever map or area they're talking about, and then just go the direction that they're saying, just in a straight line. And that's where you want to kind of drop your scouts to scan that area. Also, if you're not certain, you can use more than one scout at a time to be able to change the area. So instead of it being like this area here, you can push it out to be this much area here. If you're uncertain, use more scouts and open up that scan area, and just in one hit, you will have a bigger strike range for being able to find the next person for that guidance mode, so that it will pick up. And then one of the advantages will generally be that in each of the major towns or locations that you go into, there will be one of these on the map, the Kakurega, and that is where you can spend the money to get the scouts back. But if you use your horse quite a bit, I found the horse like mounting up on the horse and riding through the world is it's better than I would say The Witcher 3 in that instead of it feeling like every 30 seconds you're finding something or you're finding like either something to go chase down or that people interrupt you or there's combat or there's this or there's that. It instead has a really good pacing that is feels more like you get probably 2 or 3 minutes out into the world and something will just pop up. It'll either be something on the map for you to chase down or it will be a little something to go find, or it will be somebody being harassed by guards. If you go kill the guards or save this person from being harassed by guards, when you talk to them afterwards, they will offer world rumor or scout intel. If you go with scout intel, it refills one of your scout points for free. So you don't spend $200. The world intel will give you locations in the world where you can find shrines or chests or other little bits and pieces. But if you use it for the scouts, I found that was a really great way to be able to kind of keep that information together. Hey, Haz, thank you very much for the follow on Twitch. Apologies, the Twitch output plugin for everything crashed before, so I have been unable to get it to actually start putting out there. But thank you very much for that. And yes, I'm playing some Assassin's Creed, talking with Sue Bagels about how he's playing Assassin's Creed. And yeah, it's interesting to see that some people are playing, yeah. Oh, no problem at all, Sue. Like, with the scouts, I had the same issues, and I think for most of Saturday, I was bashing my head against a wall trying to work out how the scouts worked, and I just kind of kept fucking around with it until I worked out how it actually kind of worked best. If if you are uncertain of where you're scanning, use 2 or 3, and it's just this big wide area. You can hit that, and then if you're just running around the world, you're able to get 1 or 2, 3 scouts back just in helping people along the way. Also, if there's somebody where they're kind of off to the side, if there's kind of a white dot on them, a talk prompt, go up and chat with them, because it can even be a simple thing of, oh, like I need, like, I'm starving, my family's starving, I need some help, like 10 mon, or I need this, or being able to give them something that will then give you either world intel or scout intel. So you can use that to really bolster your position. But at the same time, if it gets frustrating, there is, like, I like the fact that you can actually just go, you know what, fuck it, go back to kind of quest markers. But in terms, like, I'm very glad to hear that you are really enjoying the game. It is fantastic to just know that people are playing and enjoying it. Actually, been meaning to ask you, Haz, if you're still here, how are you finding Valhalla? I know that you've been spending a whole chunk of time in it, and while Valhalla isn't one that I spent a great deal of time with, I did watch my partner play through the entirety of Valhalla, and she absolutely loved it. It was one of her top games in terms of just enjoying the experience from kind of start to finish. So yeah, been meaning to ask, like, how are you enjoying Valhalla? Because you had said that you'd only started it recently, but I forgot to ask, like, what part you were up to. Last I remember, you had mentioned that you were you're basically going through all of the canals in England and kind of just like clearing areas bit by bit. So yeah, it's like it. You know, if you got the time, let me know because I'm interested at what point you are in the game because I had my own point where I was kind of like, oh, this is, this is starting to wear on me a bit, and I had to step away from it. But for my partner, she dove in, she absolutely ate it up. Um, I've kind of got that with this at the moment, because I love seeing a culture very different to my own. Like, actually, an interesting part for Australia for people who haven't been here or. Oh wait, somebody's fighting. Who's fighting? I actually like that about games like this, where you can just kind of like stop and be like, something's going on. Something. Who's fucking around here? Um, a a really great thing I love about especially Brisbane, where I am, is that we like for a lot of towns you generally go, there's Chinatown or areas that have kind of a a particular cultural flavor or element because of points in the past where that's where the people who immigrated kind of like came together and went, oh, okay, this is we're going to open and support our own businesses from our own people, our own culture. And one of the one of the things I've always adored in Brisbane is that we have Chinatown, but over the years it has gone from being an area in the Fortitude Valley, real place, look it up, where it has the kind of classic Chinese pillars and posting and artwork and everything else from China. But over the years, it's actually broadened to include Japanese culture. And now we're getting more South Korean culture. And I love this amalgam of being able to have like my niece and nephews. One of them, I'd asked, he had done well on his assignments or assignments in school and everything, and I was like, okay, you've done really well at this, so I want to reward you, but instead of it being like, oh, let's instead of it being a simple thing of I want to reward you and I'm just going to give you like Fortnite bucks or this or that or whatever. I said to him, you need to think of an experience, like something you've never done before, you've always wanted to do. OMG Turtles in the chat. Wish I had something like that where I live. I just have fish and chip shops and smackheads fighting. True British culture. That is true. I was giving you and Blue a bit of crap in the chat earlier today about the whole, British culture is just basically football louts, headbutting one another. But for my nephew, I went, okay, you need to tell me one thing you've always wanted to do that you've never done, and one type of food that you have never eaten and you've always wanted to try. Even if it's a thing that you don't know if you're going to like it, think it up and we're going to go do it. So he told me he wants to go go-karting and he wants to try Korean barbecue. Now, for anyone here in chat who's had Korean barbecue knows that Korean barbecue can be a very polarizing thing, because a lot of Korean barbecue, while it will be cuts of meat and everything, it is very heavy on kimchi. It has a lot of spice and kick to it. I know my nephew, he's not super great with spicy, but at the same time, I've said, okay, you do realize this food is going to be spicy. It's gonna be a fucking experience. And he's like, I still want to try it. Like, why not? And that that is the thing that I love, because I asked him, okay, well, why do you want to try this? Like, why is it that you're not a spicy food fan? So why do you want to do why do you want to do the spicy food? And he just went, well, because like we've got all of this stuff here, and we've got Korean students in our class, and they talk about like all of the really great food and bits and pieces, and I've never tried it, and I want to try it so that I can talk with them about it. I love that about culture, and kind of experiencing and going, hey, there's something new. I want to try this. I want to try that. That's also why, as verbose and as much as I love playing games and talking about games, I'm standing here talking about eating great food and family and everything instead of playing the fucking game. Almost as bad as Reforged gaming. Well, no, actually, Reforged doesn't play video games. I at least managed to do a little bit of that. So, sorry, that's an unfair slag on him. Like, do what you do. If that's your game, that's your game. Whoop. Okay, that wasn't what I was expecting. But I love that, especially when it comes to get him. No, look. I think there's always respect for, if you have your way to get a buck, I'm not gonna argue and say you shouldn't use your talents or skills to earn a crust. No one should ever, like, everybody deserves the ability to make ends meet and get by and have a life, like build the life that you want. It may not be as broad and amazing or as incredible as someone else's, but I don't think that matters. You get by, you do what you can, and you hopefully get to live a life that you are happy and pleased with. And I managed to fall down a fucking thing. But I think there has to be, well, actually, like, Haz and I have talked about it. Like, there's always a point of mutual respect when it comes to, I think, having a good discussion, a back and forth. Like, everybody deserves to be heard out. And you can agree and disagree on so many different things. And, like, I'm even guilty of it, of pushing or feeling a particular way about how people should talk or discuss or have a conversation on something, where yes, OMG Turtles, exactly right. A discussion, not arguments. Like, I've even recently caught myself and gone, oh shit, in talking with someone on a topic and a back and forth, how I've seen this, I'm imposing how I believe discussion and back and forth should be had on them. That isn't how they feel about it. I'm imposing my own values upon them. And I stopped and went, oh shit, I've realized what I've done here. I apologize. And I've kind of left things and gone, no, you're absolutely right. Like, no issues, no back and forth. It is about recognizing and understanding your own, like, be willing to admit your own faults, your own issues, and your own bits and pieces, and have a discussion on equal terms. but don't impose your own values on others. And also hear everyone out. You may disagree with them. The first words out of their mouth may be, I'm not a racist, but, and that's probably the worst fucking thing you can say to start a discussion. But you should always at least go, okay, finish your sentence. Like, finish it, get it out. Because then once they've finished, you can go, I disagree with you, and in my opinion, what you've said makes you a racist. That's a discussion. You're not trying to argue with them. You're going, hey, Sub, thank you very much. And I appreciate, and I did catch a bit of your stream for Pirate Yakuza. I've been meaning, I keep going, I don't need to play more of the Yakuza side games, but you keep streaming a little bit of it. I'm like, oh, it looks like so much fun. But thank you very much for dropping by, dude. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'm really glad to hear that you're enjoying Pirate Yakuza and Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'll be really interested to kind of touch base with you. Actually, hopefully, if you're ever streaming and I'm home, I want to jump into your chat and be able to kind of pick your brain a bit more on Pirate Yakuza. But thank you for dropping by as well. I really appreciate it, and have a good night. Just you know, a bit more gaming till you get sleepy. I will admit it's heading towards 8 p.m. here, and I unfortunately have to be an adult tomorrow. I've got I'm interviewing staff. This should be fun. No, I'm sure the staff will be fantastic. But thank you very much. I appreciate you dropping by, and I hope you have a great night. And same with Hazardor. I don't know if Hazardor is still in the background doing his thing, but I really do appreciate the fact that you drop in and everything. Same with everybody. But I'm somebody who tends to feel that even in the best of circumstances, I try to hold myself to a very high standard. But even about a week ago, even I recognized my own failures in a moment and went, oh shit, I have failed in that. Oh, I think that's an achievement. Yes. I was wondering how I would get that achievement. Perform a leap of faith after using the grappling hook. I did wonder whether I would find somewhere to be able to do that. And now I have. Another achievement down. No disrespect to Reforged Gaming in what he does. He has his people who follow him. That is, oh, I'm not going to stab him. Okay. OMG Turtles. I don't think it's a bad thing at a discussion getting heated, but it's a bad thing when neither side wants to back down. It says wants to back down, but I think you believe wants. That's true. Like, I think when it gets a little heated, there are times that you can, like, a little heat in discussion is fair call. Like, sometimes, you know, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. I think you can always have discussions get heated and have people feel a bit, feel like if you feel passionate on a topic, it should always be a case of going, well, you are entitled to feel passionate about. It is fair call to say, no, I believe so strongly on this that I'm willing to fight for my opinion, not wholly and solely in that I'm right, you're wrong. It will be it will instead generally, I find in those moments, transition to a point of I don't feel you understand my position. And that can be a very OMG Turtles has is constantly having heated discussion with his fists. And that's the thing. Everybody has their position to take. And like Haz and I don't agree on everything, but there's ways to be able to have those discussions and go, okay, I feel strongly on this topic. I don't feel strongly on this topic. Or do you feel that you're being heard out in a moment? Sometimes it is the point of going, I am not feeling heard out, but not everybody can. Like there are some points where people will just go, like the toughest thing in a argument or a discussion or a back and forth is that someone will just go, I don't care what you think. And that can be a tough thing because if like me, you tend to go, I want to hear everybody's opinions. I want to consider what they're saying. And you take it as a good faith discussion. Sometimes it can get a little heated where you kind of go, wait, you don't give a shit what I'm talking about. You just feel strongly enough on this that you can disregard my point of view. That's kind of where you have to go, well, agree to disagree. That's kind of where it is. Cool. And those sorts of moments, I think you can, there's always a belief that there will always be, there's always a way for a discussion to happen. And I think that's a tough one. It's, well, actually, as much as this sounds like a really crap thing to say about the guy, but I mean it with the highest level of respect for somebody who does something that I can't do and has been doing it for a lot longer than me. But oh no, it's Alex. Back quite a few years ago, back when back in the 2020s, 2019, 2020, you're always telling me to get him and start going people. I'm not that sort of person. I'm willing to be respectful and not backhand compliment. I try not to much. But for oh no, it's Alex. Back in 2019, 2020, when there's kind of talk and discussion that was happening, he was one of the few people who was understanding the difference between monopoly discussion and oligopoly. Oligopoly is that a monopoly is one person or one group has the largest sense of control and power and will use that position to dominate and set pricing, set structures, and push against others to have themselves always remain on top by suppressing everybody else. And oligopoly is where you have that power centralized across two or three. And when Microsoft had made the announcement of purchasing Bethesda, he was one of the few people who, when people are going, oh, but you know, that's a monopoly, he was like, no, it's not a monopoly, it's an oligopoly. He understands the difference in when it comes to business and how economics work. There are certain structures and elements that you have to consider when it comes to regulators. Regulators are not going to look at Microsoft purchasing a publisher and going, oh, it's a monopoly, they're trying to monopolize. they're not, because one publisher is not the entire industry make. As much as people may have thought that way, even with Activision, that is not a monopoly. That is an oligopoly. That is just a big publisher being purchased by another publisher who, you know, that's not horizontal integration. They're not buying all of the publishers. They're just buying a publisher to help in a vertical market so that they can do everything from top to bottom when it comes to the production of games and the sale of games and the hardware for games. It's all in here, not buying everything here so that they own all publishing. So I respect the fact that he spoke on that, and he spoke in a sense of going, these are the concepts, these are the issues. But with how discussion is happening now, like salt farming or salt videos, you know, fair call to the guy, do what you do. He like in how he talks about things, he's like, I'm here to entertain first and foremost. I'm not here to inform. Fair call. I like his informative points of view because he tends to just present things in a very clean, fair, and easy to understand manner when he wants to talk on a topic and discuss. But at the same time, to call out others who, while entertaining, are not entertaining in the same way. From OMG Turtles, that's why I stopped watching him. I get what he's doing, but he makes videos about the tiniest things now. See, that's kind of where I'm going with this, is that I respect the hustle. Like, it's the same with Reforge. He has his audience. He has his people that he talks to. He has the people who are members. I don't think anybody who is a member of Reforge is anything less than welcome to do whatever they want. I don't think less of them. I don't think more of them. They're getting the content that they want to enjoy. Fantastic. That is what should be happening out there. But we have a disparity that's starting to occur in how we're discussing and talking about things where there's not an even keel. Make the videos you need or want to, but I can't watch the negative videos after negative salt video about trivial issues. That's why I stopped watching Stephanie Sterling. I agree. Like, I have my own personal differences when it comes to Stephanie Sterling, but that is the positioning that she has against an industry. I get wanting better for the industry, but to state, I need to start reading back my messages before I hit send, lol. No, that's cool, Turtles. I know after having you state that you're occasionally listening to me, I've realized that if I start reading messages without stating the messages, then there is no way for somebody who is just listening to know what I am responding to or what I am talking about. So I find that a friend of mine actually went, if you could just read the messages out when you're responding, then it means that people who are just listening can go, oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're responding to. So don't worry. I know exactly what you're going with. I respect that there are some people out there who rail against the AAA video games industry that are out there going, how dare these publishers, Microsoft, Sony, everyone else, firing employees and getting rid of talented studios and developers. I get it. I absolutely do. Like, I've had to fire people myself, and it took me a week. Now, if you're in a business of 270 to 300,000 people worldwide, you can't take a week to fire somebody. There are some points in decisions where you go, I have X amount of dollars. And that amount of dollars is what we have to be able to afford to pay for games, pay for studios, pay for leases, pay for licenses, pay for IP, pay for games, like the development of the very things that are going to make us money, that are going to keep us open. The longer I take to do these things, the more people I put at risk. You have to make hard calls. You have to make hard decisions. And the idea that the video games industry will exist and continue on this idea of, if you cut all of the C-suite budgets, okay, this is hyperbole in a sense, but it's more the example. With any of the executives at Microsoft, the amount of money that they make in their remuneration, some people have thrown around numbers of, C-suite executives, like executive level people at Microsoft are earning $18 million a year, $20 million a year, 25, 30. So they think that's money that's dropping into their pay, like into their accounts every month when they're paid, like they're getting $900,000 a month. No, they're not. They're getting, I can only speak to a certain level of person in a similar company. They were getting paid about 25, 30 grand a month in their local currency. They were earning, I think they said that they were earning about $12 million a year US. So USD, they were earning $12 million a year. Most of that was through stock remuneration, which is that if you perform and the growth in your side of the business and everything else, your stock value go up. You help the business stock improve, you are going to make more money because we will allocate you amounts of stock. But that is also just the way that they kind of feed into and help that element. If you went, like, say for all of the people who like fire Sarah Bond, Matt Booty, Phil Spencer, take that executive money and put it into the studios and pay for, like, you could have not shut down Arcane Studios. Guess what? If you had taken the money from all of the C-suite executives at Microsoft Gaming, if you were to take them all and fire them and take their 1 year of salary, it would run Arcane Studios maybe a month, 2 months, because you are then taking a couple, like maybe $150,000, $200,000 per person in that executive level. Say that there's $200,000 and you've got 10 people in the C-suite executives. So let's do the calculator on that, because I'm terrible at maths in my head. Sheet metal worker, and I'm terrible with maths in my head. So $200,000, and say you've got 20 people at that level. That is $4 million. So $4 million, the average average month, or okay, so $4 million. Some of the people there were earning, say, $120,000 a year. So let's divide that by 12. No, $120,000 divided by 12. That gives you a monthly. So $10,000 a month. At $4 million divided by $10,000 means that you have enough money there for one person for 400 months, or for the staff of 150. So, all right. So let's go 150, 250. So another 150. You have enough money for about 2.5 months of 150 staff members at Arcane Studios to work before the money runs out. What happens then? You end up at exactly the same position. And I respect Stephanie Sterling's position. They are a critic, and I feel critics do their work. That's why, like, if Yahtzee was to reach out to me and go, hey, doing this, doing that, I need help, I would drop anything, because Yahtzee's a fucking legend. Great guy. But Yahtzee also understands what's involved in running your own business, in having success. You can not like it, and you can not like the products, and you can rail against those things, but what you're also doing is that you have to temper those things and go, these things are going to happen, and great things can come from those realms, like your AAA industry. Assassin's Creed Shadows is a great example. Everybody has shat and spoken about this game going, oh, there's no way it's going to be good. DEI, woke, even taking that out of the equation. Just stating, it's Assassin's Creed, it's open world bloat, it's no good. Where. Assassin's Creed hasn't been good since Assassin's Creed 2, which is a fucking thing I've heard for goddamn years. But I've never felt that. There have been some of the games which haven't been fantastic, but, you have your good ones, have your bad ones. You have your Splinter Cell Chaos Theories, and then you have your blacklists. But there's a certain level of respect that I have for being able to go, you may not like it, but games like this are a massive effort. They are an incredible effort by thousands of people around the world. It's fun, it's engaging, it's what you can enjoy and experience. Now, if we were to go back to the realm of 30-person dev studios, yeah, we might get more games. But ultimately, people are going to want these games, these big worlds. Because we started with the 30-person dev studios. And you know what happens then? Is that we went, oh, wouldn't it be amazing to have a massive open world game? And then we got things like the Elder Scrolls. We got the Elder Scrolls Arena, which did procedural generation, algorithm generation on an entire open world for the entirety of Tamriel. And then we started looking and going, wouldn't it be cool to see all of this stuff rendered in 3D, or to have, to be able to see more, to pick up the cup, to, go and interact with the world more than just a text box. I don't even know where I'm going with this. I will just go back to my point that I derailed off, but thank you for that, Turtles. Um, I do know where I was going. With Reforge, all of his content, all of his people that are watching, best of luck to him. If Reforge's opinion and his position on things is what it is, I believe that you kind of go, I don't agree with the person. I think that they have got facts wrong. But if you reach out to them and go, hey, you might have gotten something wrong, if they go, I don't care, you've got things wrong, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 blah. At that point, stop. Just stop and go, so you're not looking for a discussion, you don't want to engage, you don't want to talk, you want to talk at people. At that point, there is no help, because, like, not to criticize the dude, I think he does one thing that's good, just his approach is a little bit different to mine. I like being here. I like talking to the camera, to the audience, while attempting to play games, or occasionally just standing here and prattling on like the prat I am. But my discussion is always about highlighting what an audience is talking about, because if you are standing there and speaking your position to the world and not being willing to take anything, good, bad, or otherwise, from the audience back at you, to kind of go, hey, maybe I've gotten something wrong, I will look into it. That's why I stopped and went, wait, it's this mode in the game, not that mode, or bringing up a web browser and trying to correct myself. Because a discussion back and forth, that encourages things. It's actually what I am, the next step for all of this now, hopefully, that the room is done and everything is working properly. Also, the design of everything here will be changing very soon. But I'm still trying to work out how to actually do art. What I'm hoping to do here is the thing that I see that Alex did long ago and is part of informative, like Alex's position of you are meant to entertain. And that's where he goes, you should be entertaining people first, not inform, like stop trying to big brain everybody, instead entertain them. I understand and respect his position, because he's right, you should be entertaining. But I think that there's two kind of realms to it. One part is that Alex is entertaining with his live streams, and as he put it, like, I've got a banana suit on and I'm doing weird, wacky things. Fantastic. But there's also, as much as that is a valid position, you can also have a valid position in informing, in discussing, in having a back and forth with your audience. That is where I hope to kind of take this down the line, is that it's an old concept, but I think, Turtles, you'd be old enough to remember it, and maybe anyone else who's watching it. If you're familiar with talkback radio, the old AM style stuff, where, you know, it's the classic radio guys like, what do you think? Give us a call. Let's talk about these issues. Like that sort of back and forth. Normally, you hear it with breakfast radio and everything else, where people go, "Oh, you know, this thing has happened," or "We've had this politician come in to talk about this policy." Blah blah blah. Those sorts of things. The one thing that happens with a lot of shows, it may just be the very things that I'm able to identify easily. You have headlines with Xbox Era on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You have Kind of Funny Games Daily, and there's other kind of like, in a sense, daily chat shows or every couple of days or major news story chat shows where you have content creators, whether it be a Dustin Legary, a Xbox Era, Jesse and John, or it's Greg Miller and Blessing Adeoye Jr. and Tim Geddes and everybody at Kind of Funny. What you're tuning in there for is the opinions of those people discussing the topic, talking through it, and giving you their opinions. Now, for Xbox Era, I know that those guys do have quite a bit of audience feedback. Kind of Funny Games Daily has started doing audience feedback where super chats have, in a sense, that little bit of priority to come up, where Blessing or Greg will go, this person in the super chat has brought up this, and yes, that's a good point, or that is a consideration, or we were going to talk about that in the next news story. I think there is something missing when it comes to those sorts of things, and I may not be the person to do it, but I think somebody should be, which is why I always bring things up, and it's why a lot of the things that I've ever worked on, I've handed off to other people. Because sometimes one person is not able to do everything that they think of. Sometimes you need to hand it off to others and let them take it somewhere. But what really needs to start happening is that the audience is feeling that they're being spoken to, but they're not being heard. And it's in how you see discussions occurring in YouTube and Twitch chat that makes me wonder how is the best way that you can serve the audience and allow the audience to drive a show which isn't about entertainment, but is about having an audience feel heard. Now, it'd be the same for Turtles in the chat. You're always here. Whenever you send something in or bring up a point, I highlight it. I talk about those things. Now, if you've got 50 to 100 people in the chat, or 250 or 500, you can't do that for everyone. But so many shows are about having enough people behind or on camera discussing the points together that you are ultimately having two people talk back and forth to one another with input from the audience from the chat, which intersperses the two main opinions. I feel that somebody needs to be, there needs to be somebody out there who is savvy enough and smart enough to be able to work this out. And if you do it, don't worry about crediting me. God bless you. On you go. What needs to happen is being able to discuss and have somebody who can speak earnestly to an audience and go, I'm not speaking down, I'm not speaking up, I am not the authority. I can, you be critical of yourself, you be willing to admit mistakes, you be willing to have a bit of a back and forth with your audience and go, this is the news, this is the story, these are the facts that I've got, and this is what I'll be discussing. If somebody goes, oh, well, that news story got it wrong, the actual thing was this. They link off or they go, this news story this day. It's then on that person to go, okay, check it, bring it up and go, yes, you're right. In fact, that news story that I read off was incorrect. Because all the love to Kind of Funny and like 10 years doing their thing, I have no critique on what they're doing. They're obviously doing it right. But there is something weird when, like, I've watched Greg Miller for years now. He has always been a professional, always critical on self, and been willing to, when he's not playing something up for the joke, he's always gone, you know, I may have gotten something wrong. And if he's called out on it in a moment and goes, oh, yes, you're right, I got something wrong. Factually, this is this or this is that. But since he has stepped back from being the main host of the main show every day for Kind of Funny Games Daily, there have been points where some news stories, whether it's like, this isn't about a platform, this is about some of the news stories that have been part of Kind of Funny Games Daily and how it's presented. But the simple point is, every news story is linked off. Here is this news story from Joe Scrubbles at Xbox Live Wire. Okay, cool. You're getting that story from Xbox Live Wire. So that is the official Xbox news source. Blah, 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 blah. Talk about this. Then when it comes into the discussion of the topic after that point, to have the person who is presenting the news go, oh, I also then looked up all of the other Xbox games that are coming out this year. There is this, there is this, there is this. And you go, wait, you're missing Doom the Dark Ages. That's coming out in May. Like, you're missing this, you're missing this. Would you not, like, it can be a tough thing of, I would expect and hope that if you're leading the news show, you should be the person who is verifying and checking everything that you present, that you should be on top of everything. Because if a guy on Twitter who's working 60-hour weeks and is listening to the content that you create while he's running a break press knows more about the games and the release schedule than you do, when your job is to review those games, to talk about those games, play those games, preview those games, and live games to be able to inform your audience, when the audience knows more than you about information that is public knowledge, that makes me step back and go, okay, what is going on? Like, when it comes down to it, if someone like runs his Twitter account getting all of the video gaming news and everything, he's not paid to do that. It isn't his job. He does that as his thing. He's not getting paid, and he knows more than you, who is getting paid by a fan, like a crowdfunding effort to have video gaming news presented to you every single day with news, reviews, opinions. I cannot open the fucking door. Those sorts of things kind of make me go, well, wait, if you're not going to engage and put in the same amount of effort that you would if you were at an IGN or anything else or any of these other places, if the audience knows more than you, you are not doing your job right. And to the same degree, the other side of me goes, If the audience knows more than you, then there's an issue. But the audience who knows more than you doesn't have a way to be able to interact or to engage past the point of, I put $2 with my message and it gets read out. And the moment that that is the level of interaction that you need to be able to try and correct someone, you are monetizing engagement. Now, engagement, when it comes to a back and forth, a discussion, if there is a price of entry, then why? It creates a disparity that I feel isn't being represented, or that nobody is not taking advantage of, but nobody is creating the very thing, the antithesis for these efforts to be able to understand where they are not failing, but they are not respecting their audience. Respect your audience by making sure that no one ever has a cost of entry. No one should be reduced or removed from being able to engage with it when they feel they have something to say. Are they being heard? That's a tough thing. As an audience grows, not everybody can be heard. Not everyone can be represented. But that's because most of the content about there is making sure that two people are talking back and forth, and that those two people have opinions that are respected, that are agreeable, that don't that align with a certain point of view. Sorry, this is kind of going on a bit of a ranting territory. But if somebody's able to work out a way in which you can engage, talk with an audience, respects their discussion, their points, their bits and pieces. If anybody out there has any better ideas, please, by all means, drop it into the comments. If this idea inspires you to do something, please just do it. You don't even fucking worry about me. You go do you. You just let me know what you're doing, because I want to see it. That would be amazing. I would love to see this idea realized by someone, because it's probably not going to be me, because I am way too fucking busy. But I'm going to try. There is a way. I think the talkback methodology, the talkback radio, would be the way to do it. But there are two major risks. One is the trolls, who would jump into a chat like this and immediately start dropping N-bombs and everything like that, trying to get you banned off YouTube or Twitter or whatever. And there's also then the people who would try to push a point or push an agenda and go, no, you need to see things this way, and argue and the concerned trolls, the way it usually is. So there has to be a way to be able to have a back and forth discussion where somebody can highlight and talk. So I've actually been thinking about how you would do it potentially is a Discord system where instead of people kind of jumping into the chat and talking live with a host, although you could do that. If you had a trusted channel, you might be able to make it happen. But have a Discord messages system where people can send messages in, and you would be able to have them come up and almost be like a breakfast announcer who's working solo, where text messages come in and it's like, oh, we've got a message from this person. It'd be the same as reading it off a live chat, but it would engage people with a way where they can say something to the host without it being to everyone, where if they feel that their opinion or idea could get them ostracized from general discussion, they can put it to the host and go, you know, maybe thinking this. But if anybody has any ideas on this or wants to do it, please take it. Take it with my blessing and do something amazing. Because, yeah, it just came up as something in how Reforge Gaming has his way of making money. And all due respect to him, he makes his money. That's how he does his thing. That's cool. You do you. I don't think I could ever do that. My partner can attest to this. I like, for all of the nice things that you see in here and around here for all of this, I think I've done all of this over 2 years. Because I still, to this point, never want to spend money on myself. Because I've always been like, oh no, I can get by. Like, you know, I'm the kid who couldn't afford a PlayStation for years. But I was like, oh no, I can't justify it just for me, even though it's like I could afford it. I had the money in my account to buy a PlayStation, but I would always stop myself. I don't know where I was going with that. Train of thought derailed. Oh, wait, hold on. There we go. Yeah, I'm completely lost now. I am getting really terrible with that. I will easily and openly admit. Yeah, it took me ages to get to the point where I'm able to do this, and actually then built up enough confidence in myself to go, okay, I've wanted to try this. I want to attempt this. I'm going to do these things. But I don't know. I keep thinking and looking at all of these ideas and going, somebody has to come up with a better way of doing it, just in generality. I would love to make it work, but it's still just one of those things. Every time I look at it and think, oh, you know, I could make this happen, or I've got this great idea. I can never, unfortunately, get the time to be able to do it. You know, someday maybe if I win, you know, a lottery or something like that, or decide to, you know, retire early because I'm multi-trillion billionaire, and I don't go crazy like Elon Musk or something. You never know. There's a certain amount of money can change people. Well, I still don't think it really changed Elon Musk. He just, you know, peeled back the human skin suit, and he just became who he was the entire time. Just nobody wanted to believe it. But then again, I'm very cynical when it comes to the old money. I've met so many people in my life who, yeah, grew up in those old money families, and it is a very weird sort of person that comes from all of that. All right. I'm probably going to finish up here in collecting this and finishing the temple, because as I did indicate earlier, I do have interviews tomorrow. I have new staff. Hopefully, we've got new staff applying for roles that that have just come up. So I get to do the fun thing of being a super professional person and sitting down, chatting with people throughout the day, and then at the end of the week, deciding who we're going to offer the position to and get them in, and hopefully have another staff member, which then means meeting a new person, getting a feel for them, helping them understand the work, and spending a great deal of time training them up to, that level where then they can then work autonomously. A fun aspect. I think everybody has trained a new staff member. I've trained more new staff members than I care to mention. Although the current staff that we've got are just like top notch. Like we had a young guy start with us around October last year, and he's just been fantastic. We had my partner start with us 2 years ago, and they are fantastic. And like we've got such a good thing going that it can almost be scary in bringing in a new staff member, because you don't want to ruin what you have already, but you need to expand, because if you just keep it to who you've got, it will get very busy very quickly and you are going to burn out everybody. So hopefully everybody's not going to get burnt out. But I'm going to leave it there. But I do want to say thank you to Turtles, OMG Turtles, the legend who keeps rocking up, and hopefully I'm making the morning just crack along at a merry old pace for you. So you just look up and be like, oh, Crow's finished. Holy crap, it's like midday. I don't know what time it is over there in the UK, but I figure it is kicking along to a lot later in the day. So you're just going to be like, fuck yeah, I get to have another coffee. Lunch is in like 30 minutes. Then I'm going to get home. I don't know what you're up to today, but hopefully it's great. And I do want to say thank you to Sabagels and Hazard All Gaming for dropping in. I appreciate, and thank you guys for stopping by, even if for a moment or for anything like that. I honestly appreciate it. It is nice to see you guys, and hopefully, like you have got to keep me in on the loop on how you're going with Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That's the one that you're playing. So we're going to call it there. Thank you very much, everybody. If you are watching this stream later, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And you can do the whole thumbs up or subscribe to the channel, all those sort of assorted bits and pieces. But it is never a worry. If you catch something and you enjoy it, honestly, drop a message, drop a chat, reach out and just go, hey, that was cool. You don't always have to be here. Not every video will be for everybody, but I appreciate you stopping by nevertheless. So thank you very much, everybody. Hope you have a great rest of the day. I'm going to go and sleep and deal with a massive day tomorrow, but appreciate it. Chat.